Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there and welcome to New Life Live. Really glad that you are with us here today. And we have with us the J people today. JJ West and Dr. Jill Hubbard are here. Hi guys, how are you?
Hey Steve, doing great. How are you?
I'm doing all right. And I know that you did a great job at the Every Man's Battle online, and I know you did a great job when you were on the program without me on the program. I don't know, maybe something to do with that. But JJ, we really love what you're doing. We love you being part of New Life. And Jill, we've always loved you and what you do.
Well, none of us are as good without you here, Steve.
Oh, that's so nice.
That's right.
It's true.
But
it's
hopefully
really
that's
true.
Not true. Anyway, JJ, you do Every Man's Battle, and you do the Intimacy and Marriage Weekend, and they go. They're so important that people go to Restore, go to Every Man's Battle, and go to Intimacy and Marriage. We did a survey, or we've done this at the beginning of Intimacy and Marriage. 59% of those that come don't feel connected to their spouse. 55% say that the partner needs help in the area of sexual intimacy. And listen to this, 65% of the people that come say they're counting on the weekend to bring them back together. And 38%, almost 40%, one of us has been unfaithful in the marriage. And so that's why we do these, because this isn't just, I was rude to my spouse stuff. Mm-hmm. We know the reality of relationship, and we've all been there, and some of us are still there. And just talk about, let JJ start with you, but just talk about the power of sharing your own story, knowing the path to healing, and the impact that has on the people that come.
Absolutely. We start off the Every Man's Battle workshop, the very first session. I tell my story, one, because I want to model for them so when they're getting ready to tell their own story, that they don't feel like we're asking them to do something we're not willing to do.
Right.
But also because I know what it's like to live in the grip of addiction, to struggle and fail over and over and over. I know what that feels like, how powerless you feel, how hopeless you feel. But I also know what it feels like to walk in freedom. And so I want to be able to convey that hope to other men. I say all the time, it's the old adage that people use for evangelism. It's one beggar telling another beggar where to find bread.
There you go.
It's nothing. There's nothing that I did that was spectacular at all, other than my sin being spectacular. It's all about how gracious God has been to me.
Jill, you have a thought here?
Well, I think I love that, JJ. I also think for the marriage weekend, we help people at all levels. We have people who are on the verge of divorce, and we have people that want a tune-up. And everything in between is beneficial. And I love how Every Man's Battle trickles down to us females who have been in relationship with those addicts.
Yep. All right, well, I'll tell you, I've been there where you simply cannot stop the unhealthy thing. There's your number one symptom of addiction. And it requires a surrender, and as my recovery coach says, dying to yourself surrender. That's pretty serious surrender. 1-800-229-3000. We'll be back. Join us.
Our marriage was just so toxic and just so many simple interactions that turned into conflict. And so we signed up to participate in the workshop.
This is Steve Arterburn. Our Intimacy in Marriage workshop examines the various types of intimacy, spiritual, emotional, and physical, as well as the challenges of experiencing true intimacy.
The tools that we received from the Intimacy in Marriage workshop were tremendous. It was so much that we were able to take and utilize and actually come back and apply.
Don't settle for a miserable marriage or even one that's just okay. It's possible to have that great marriage you always want.
The next Intimacy and Marriage workshop is July 28th to the 30th in Washington, D.C. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more or go to newlife.com. 1-800-639-5433.
Best decision we could have ever made. There's no price that we can put on having healthy marriages.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here, J.J. West, Dr. Jill Hubbard. Before we go to Joseph, I want to tell you that on Thursday there is the free webinar that's put on by Laura Mangan. And Laura does our Restore and does Intimacy in Marriage, and she is going to do a whole webinar on women, the bedroom, and I think you're going to find so much healthy stuff. She really understands the struggle, and she understands the path, and she's seen the results, and so she's going to give this away. You can register on the Intimacy in Marriage page at newlife.com, but I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's free, and you will get your money's worth definitely when something's free like that. It's really helpful, and she knows how to approach this in a non-shaming, non-embarrassing way. So that's Thursday, and it's free, and it's 1 o'clock Central Time, and you go to Intimacy in Marriage on newlife.com and sign on up. Of course, always, if you need help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE is, you can talk to somebody there if you're struggling or don't know how to sign up. All right, let's go to Joseph. He's calling from Nashville, Tennessee, listens to us on the internet. Hi, Joseph. How are you? Joseph? Are you there, Joseph?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yes. Hey, thanks for taking my call. Can you hear me?
Sure. Yes, I can hear you very well.
I'm living with a woman. I'm not married. We're sleeping in the same beds. We did have sex. We're not having sex. We lived together for a couple of years. We live in a common law marriage state, so it's legally okay. She has a condition where she has no hormones, so she does not have that desire. So it's all on me. When I get that urge, I pray and it's gone. So it's been 6 months now. We do nothing, but we sleep in the same bed. We hold hands. We pray. Am I living in sin? That's my question.
All right. I do hear that that's your question. There may be other answers other than just to that question. Let's start with you, JJ. What are you thinking here when you hear same bed, no sex for 6 months? Is that living in sin?
So Joseph, thanks for the call. I'm going to do the cardinal sin of answering your question with a question, which is, why are you putting yourself in a situation where there is this ongoing temptation? Is there a reason why you haven't decided to get married?
She was in a long marriage, very long marriage, a couple decades, and it ended very, very bad. And we both prayed. We had a little ceremony in front of God, and said we're committed to each other, blah, 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 blah. But we're not going to do the legal thing, and that's just where we are for now.
We're not going to do the legal thing because she had a bad marriage before?
Yeah, that's what she wants.
Okay. And is that what you want?
No, but in time, and she says in time. But I just want to know.
Okay.
So,
So then,
can I just clarify? So you're doing all the intentions of marriage. You're living like you're married, but you just don't want to make it legal. I just don't know how that's any different when you could put protections in if there's things that she is worried about
Right.
in the legal agreement, right?
Right. She came home from work and everything was gone. Everything. And bank accounts closed, everything.
Yeah, and that's terrifying, right? To trust again. So she's venturing into trust, right?
Correct.
While just kind of coming right up to the line. And I'm wondering about, sorry, JJ, to jump in here.
Go ahead, Jill. Go ahead.
I'm wondering about you guys getting into therapy and talking through some of that. And then again, putting some things in place that would be safeguards, right? Giving her control of certain things, setting it up so that that can't happen again as a commitment to each other. Or, and I guess I'm having a hard time with the we're sleeping in the same bed playing house, right? It's one thing if she were a boarder or a roommate, but sleeping in the same room and not being married. And yeah. And it's because the way you have it set up, she could leave any time, right? There isn't anything holding the two of you there.
Well, also, little reality is if one person wants to be married and the other person says, I just want to live with you because of all this other stuff, the person that wants to be married, when you live together, you have lowered the chance of you getting married. Now, here's the thing. You said in due time. Well, is she doing any kind of work that would lower that time? That's just a question whether you're living together or not.
Right.
But I got to tell you something. Anybody that lives together, you get entangled and you buy stuff together. You say, no, we're not going to do that. But you do. And then when you realize, oh, I have no chance of this working out for me, you can't get out of it easily. So you just kind of drift and stay in and you're stuck. So my advice would be, whether it is sin or not, practically, I would not have this kind of situation because you're going to end up feeling very empty at the end of the day. That's what I think. I think it would be amazing if you said to her, I want to be a man of integrity. We're going to move out. If you really did care for me or do care for me, we're going to continue the relationship. And when it's right, we will get married and we'll move right back in. That's how you avoid the sinful situation question. JJ, you want to finish? Because Jill was jumped in there. No,
Sorry.
It was good, Jill. JJ, what else would you like to say?
So there's a challenge here, because when you're asking the question, am I living in sin? You're narrowing your definition of sin to whether or not I have sex with her.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you're not having sex with her, then you're not in sin. No, you could be sinning in a whole lot of other ways. Scripture tells us that we should avoid even the appearance of evil. If I am uniting my heart to someone when I don't have that promise of staying together forever, I'm setting myself up for great disappointment. I'm setting myself up for heartache. Not to mention the fact that if I'm living with a woman, not just roommates, but I'm living with a woman whom I'm in love with and I desire, and we're sleeping in the same bed, and so I'm probably seeing her changing in her night clothes. I'm constantly putting myself in the way of temptation, which is unwise. So I'm sinning in a whole lot of different ways other than just whether or not I've had intercourse with her.
Now,
that was all.
Joseph, what are you thinking when you hear these things? Because I doubt that's what you were hoping we were going to tell you.
Well, I told her to change in the bathroom because I don't want to see that. It's you're right. It's very tempting. We're in our 60s. I sold everything I had, moved in here. We put our mind together. Her heritage is you have to date for about this time, a couple years, and then you get engaged, and then you have a long engagement, and then you get married. When she's committed, I'm committed till death do us part. We said all that. We just don't have the papers. But we're in this state where we are common law marriage. But God told me, do you want to live by the state's law or do you want to live by my law? So I decided to call you and see what you could tell me.
Yeah.
She's passively backing into marriage through the common law criteria, right? Instead of making a definitive choice.
And to my point about living together, you've already done it. You sold everything, moved in. Now you have less options because you sold everything, moved in, and I want you to be a man fulfilling God's purpose, not messing around with whether or not this relationship's going anywhere or it's the right thing. I want you to be on purpose, and the way you get there, of course, is to admit the reality of the situation, to honestly communicate, here's what we're actually doing here, even though we're telling ourselves it's something else. And then now let's seek what is the best thing for us to get on with fulfilling the purpose that we have, because God made us to have this purpose. And I don't know what your mission is, your purpose, but I know this. He made you to do something significant for Him.
And what if you started by saying, I'm going to move out of the bedroom for a week. I'm going to sleep on the couch, and I want us to both pray about this and really try to, consider what the Lord would have us do here, what would be honorable. And Joseph, you could even maybe go stay with a friend for a month or whatever. And then, you've already done what you guys consider a ceremony. You would just need to do, something at the courthouse, really, to make it official.
Now, I rarely say profound things, but I think this is profound.
Okay, we're waiting. Okay?
When you're with someone and they've only got 1 foot into the relationship that you desire, the second you move forward, they've got 1 foot out of the relationship that you desire. What you want is somebody that's both feet in the dating, in the engagement, in the marriage. Then you don't have to worry about 1 foot out, and you're always feeling insecure because you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. Now, I'm gonna send you a little book here. It's How We Love. And I hope you guys could read this together and come to understand why you're attracted to each other, what the person's style of attachment and attraction is, and that it might kind of inspire you to get the best relationship possible while you're doing your best to follow God's plan for your life. I'm really glad you called, because a lot of people are doing this very thing, Christians, and they're never calling and asking, is this the right thing to do? So I'm really glad that you did that. 1-800-229-3000. And how about we go to Denny? Denny's calling over here from Bethany, Missouri. Sirius XM is where Denny listens. Hi there. How are you?
Good morning. Yes, thank you for taking my call.
Yeah.
I was listening to who was it? Jacob there, or
JJ?
Joseph.
Joseph,
Joseph.
the caller.
Yeah, he was just talking about living with a lady, and they were not intimate, but they were not married. and I just had a comment. I think it was Apostle Paul, and I can't recall the exact verse, but it said, abstain from all appearance of evil.
Yeah.
And perhaps, so...
JJ said that.
Yeah.
He said that.
So I didn't hear that portion. I was
Yeah.
making my call when that I didn't hear that portion of it, and I just.
But good to emphasize.
Yeah, and I was trying to give him some other perspectives, and then JJ did mention that's a big one right there.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna hold on.
That's kind of the direction right out of the Bible.
Yeah, it sure is. Hold on, and I'll send you Every Man's Bible just because you cared enough to call us, Nenny. Really glad that you did. You are listening to New Life Live. You can join us. We're going to be here an hour and a half after this. 1-800-229-3000. We'll be back.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Dallas, Texas, August 4th through the 6th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com.
I just can't say enough of what New Life has done for our marriage.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I've been listening to New Life for many years, gone to a few workshops. I want to support a ministry that helps people connect with God and with others and gives them the tools to help transform their lives.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of all 8 100-day devotionals, including 100 Days of Healing, 100 Days from Freedom from Shame, and 100 Days of Freedom from Anger. There are also ongoing benefits like the monthly Club New Life CD or download, access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, discounts on workshops, and quarterly online meetings with Steve. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
And
we're back.
We're back.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was trying to get you to see.
Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, 1-800-229-3000. That is the phone number to call if you want to join us. JJ West, Dr. Jill Hubbard. And let's see, we've got a call coming up here. I can't go to it just yet because it's not goable. So let me go over this with you. And that's right off of my little sheet here. And that says that if you need a Christian counselor or coach, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Coaching is kind of a new thing. I mean, it's an old thing, but the way we are doing coaching these days, and there's a International Christian Coaching Institute certifying folks, but it's different than counseling. But it isn't just all cut and dried. We're just going to inspire you, motivate you, give you advice. No, there are a lot of things that happen in counseling that also happen in coaching because your background has everything to do with your future. And so it really is valuable. It's a wonderful, wonderful way to get help and encouragement no matter what you're involved with or what you're doing. So I want to encourage you to call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, whether you need a coach or a counselor. Now, we are ready to go to Nina from Charlotte, North Carolina. What a great city that is. And here she comes right now. Hi there. How you doing, Nina?
Hello.
Hi.
Good. How are you?
How can we help you?
You want me to? Well, I was just going to say that many of my friends, I'm in my 60s, who remarried, we lose our financial position, whether it's alimony or Social Security benefits from our prior marriage.
Yeah.
I personally got married at 58 years old, chose to legally get married, and gave up
Oh boy, you are really cutting out there. We didn't hear anything. So
You got remarried at 58 for the second time?
and I think the point you're making is you did it the right way, and then what happened?
I'm just saying that many people in my age group who are in a relationship have not gotten married again. They just
because of the
in fact,
financial.
one of them got married. Yeah, because they wanted to keep their financial position. But one of my friends was married by a pastor at the church who just married them under God, but not legally. You know, just
Yeah.
said we know they're committed to each other and this kind of thing, and
Yeah.
just in order to keep her financial status. Yeah, and
Well,
I just wanted to run that by you guys.
Okay. So is it a comment you're making, or is it a question?
Well, it's a comment. Plus, I just want to know what you think. I'm sure this has come up with you guys a lot.
Yeah. I think that if you want to have an easy life and you can back out of the relationship at any moment and stay financially sound, don't get married. But if your priority is becoming the person that God has called you to be, relating in the way that God has laid out for us to relate, which the ultimate is, if you're called to be single, you go live that life. If you're called to be married, you go live that life. And yes, you may be hurt financially, but if being hurt financially means I'm honoring God and trusting God in doing the right thing, then that's better than to say, well, we're not married, we're financially secure, but hey, it's a very short amount of time we're on this earth, and the priority, I believe, needs to be doing the right thing. And okay, so here's the thing. So what if you're not doing the right thing? A lot of us don't do the right thing. Then you surrender and you get that wrong thing or the roadblock out of the way. JJ, what are you thinking when you hear this? Because it is true, financially, you do lose.
Of course. Yeah,
My grandmother did. Nanny did.
Yes.
She married Mr. Mounds and then had no benefits. So there you go.
But there's a couple of things going on here. One is that when we're basing it on finances, we're actually living in fear.
Yeah.
We're letting the fear that I won't have enough dictate my behaviors, which is not God honoring.
Right.
And then secondly, we're actually committing fraud. When we're acting as though we're married, but we're not legally married, we're not living under the authority of the state that God has put over us. There's a reason why those laws are in place, that once someone remarries, they no longer receive alimony, or once a child reaches 18, they no longer receive child support, because they're in a position where they can then provide for themselves. So we're actually flaunting a law that was put in place for a reason, and I don't think it's God honoring for us to live committing fraud.
Very good point,
Well,
JJ.
thank
Really.
you, because
Yeah, go ahead.
that is exactly what I chose in my life. So that's,
Right.
I knew that was right, but I'm just seeing around me many who don't.
Yep. And so you're doing the right thing. You put your finances at risk, but you didn't put your integrity at risk.
Yes.
We'll be back right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. Chris Williams on coaching.
Oftentimes I get asked, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? The biggest difference between the two is that a therapist is going to be looking for a diagnosable mental health condition, whereas a coach is going to look at a particular issue and help a person work through that.
If you need a coach, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
If you're looking at an issue in your life that you just kind of want to change, whether it be your weight or leadership or other areas of behavioral patterns, check out coaching. There can be some really, really helpful things for you.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and talk to us about getting a New Life coach. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back right here. And this whole issue of marriage and later years and financial benefits going away, Jill has a comment.
Well, I'm really glad Nina brought this issue up because I think it is a huge issue for people as they get older. And I think there is a balance. We need to be wise and not throw all caution to the wind because you found somebody that you love. So I think that the financial situation needs to be one of the things taken into consideration. I mean, that is part of the reality. How are we going to move forward together? What is this going to look like? And then putting things in place, like I said previously about protection. But when we prioritize, like JJ said, the financial, we're putting our trust in money along with being afraid. So we're trusting in money over God to work out the details.
JJ, anything else profound that you would like to say here? Because you really got some great insight.
I guess mine wasn't profound.
I wasn't.
We need
saying
more
that.
profound. Okay.
No, I wasn't.
I get one per show, Steve. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
He did it.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay. Well, speaking of profound, Larry Sonnenberg is right there with us. And Larry, what did you profoundly bring into the studio today?
Oh gosh, I wish I could be profound. We got the marriage workshop coming up, intimacy and marriage, and I know, Steve, that the best thing we can do is have a live body that has experienced something, be a voice to talk about it, not just me reading testimonies. Yeah. So a couple of thoughts. I went online and looked at our website, and there is a wonderful testimony from a couple on video. If you go to Events tab on the top of our home page and just click on Intimacy and Marriage, scroll down a little bit, and John and Leslie did a 5 or 6 minute testimony, and it made me cry today when I was looking at it. It's so touching.
Wow.
But I just want to encourage folks to do that. And not in lieu of me sharing. I might share too if I have time. Here's one. He writes, I'd been drifting towards isolation from my wife. But at this workshop, we've reestablished the bond that will enable us to truly be a team. The weekend's been a watershed moment in the health of our marriage and family. That's a simple statement, but there's a lot in that for it to be a watershed moment. I'm leaving the workshop with a renewed love for my wife and a desire to provide and defend a safe haven for her to flourish. I tell anyone considering that workshop, come expecting to be changed and to remember why you fell in love with your spouse. And I want to share, we share a lot of kind of rags to riches kind of testimonies, people that are really struggling to even hold a marriage together. But I just want to share this one real quickly.
Okay.
With 37 years of a great marriage, my wife and I wondered if it was possible to get better. What we learned was that we can make a great marriage incredible. This workshop's been awesome. I'm leaving with a feeling of the anticipation of a newlywed going to their honeymoon. I'm excited about turbocharging my connection with my wife and best friend. Yeah, I want to
turbocharge.
I love that.
That's powerful.
I just wanted people to know you don't have to be in desperate measures to attend this workshop.
Yeah,
we love it when we get people who are that we can help and turn things totally around. But there are people that say, I want to, once a year, I'm going to go to something to help.
Yeah.
And so you can come to this every year and you'll get something out of it. So
you sure can, and because if you went the next year, you're going to be at a different place.
Yeah.
Either worse because it wasn't easy when you left, or it's going to be so much better. You've grown from it. Yeah. Thank you for that.
On top of it, I just want to say, please consider supporting New Life. We need Club New Life memberships. People drift in and out of Club New Life, and we need to keep it growing. You folks are the only ones that can do it. It makes a difference. It's why we can do what we do, because you make a gift in support, and you do it monthly. It's that gift that keeps on giving. You do it every single month.
Yeah.
And God bless you, and thank you for that.
Yeah, we really want you to shift the drift in Club New Life and help us create a wave of new folks being part of this community. And this Thursday, I'm doing a webinar for, and it's free. We're all just getting together, all of our Club New Lifers. And I'm speaking on the longest title I've ever spoken on. Here's my title: The Value of Knowing Your History, Understanding Your Traditions, Transforming Your Habits, and Leaving an Inspiring Legacy. And when I'm talking about traditions, you've heard people say, well, our heritage is that we're not touchy-feely or something like that. They will say, this is the tradition I'm practicing based on, well, my father told me, all these kinds of things. And we're going to tear those to shreds in this little time here. So anyway, I hope you'll join Club New. Yeah, shredding is good. But I hope you'll join us. I hope you'll join Club New Life. How much is it a month now, Larry?
$35 a month.
$35. And that's how many years this ministry has been in existence, coming this November. Happy birthday to us. But call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you can help us. Call us if you can be part of Club New Life. You want to do that. And then you can call if you need help. It's the same number, 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
And call if you want to share what a difference that workshop made for you a year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 ago.
That would be excellent.
Okay.
All right, we're going to go back. Thank you, Larry. We're going to go back to the phones, 1-800-229-3000. And let's go to John, New York, Sirius XM is where he hears us, Sirius XM channel 131 at noon Central Time. Hey, John, how are you?
Good, Steve. How are you?
Doing okay. How could we help? Or yeah.
Good. The question I have is my grandson wants to be married. He and his fiancée want to marry, and I'm a pastor, and they've asked me to do the ceremony. Now they don't go to the church where I pastor, but my question is, my concern is they have lived together for a number of years, and I just wanted to hear your guys' take, biblically, how do I go forward with this, and should I go forward with it?
Yeah, great question. And I'm just going to have JJ start us off. I will bring up the rear with my thoughts on this. JJ, what do you think? Should he marry this couple that have been living together?
So I would encourage you, if you are going to perform the ceremony, you certainly can ask them to do a couple of things. If they want you to perform the ceremony, you can ask them, hey, I would really like you to engage in some premarital counseling before the ceremony. I think that would be helpful for you. Or B, would you consider separating for the amount of time between now and the ceremony as a way to set a covenant with each other that we're choosing to be faithful to one another only. You can ask that, you don't have to, but that would certainly be within your rights, I guess, if you want to put it that way, as the person performing the ceremony. Is your concern about you performing the ceremony that somehow you are you're condoning their behavior of living together before they got married?
Yeah. That's my, that. Yes, that's
okay.
Exactly.
Have you had that?
I'm excited that they. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I say I'm excited the fact that they want to marry, and they want to do it in the church, and they know my heart, and biblically they know where I stand, and the Lord's way about going about marriage and that whole thing biblically. So I'm excited about that. But you're right. What my concern is the message that I'm sending to others, that living together is fine before you marry. Well, kind of that whole thing.
Right, John. And I, in addition to premarital counseling, I think you would want to meet with them. And even though maybe your grandson knows your stance, just to go over that again. And I love JJ's idea of asking them to have a period of time where they're praying about the marriage, where they're honoring God and saying, we want to trust God with our marriage. And this is a sign of that. Yeah. I think that's not too much to ask. And this is your grandson. So I think it's different than a random person from your congregation. You want to be more involved.
1-800-229-3000.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here with J.J. West and Dr. Jill Hubbard, and we're still talking with John. Mm-hmm. And, John, to me, this is the dilemma. Here's this couple. They want you to marry them in a church. They're moving toward good things. And then if we come down too hard, then they reject the good things. That's our dilemma. But I do think that it would be okay, in fact, I think it's a good idea, if you were to say to them, I have kind of a tough situation here because I have made a commitment not to marry someone if they're living together because, it just doesn't feel right or whatever. And so I'm going to ask you, I want to marry you in the church, and I'm just going to ask you guys to live apart. And that could be 2 weeks, a month, whatever. But I think, like JJ's saying, you could actually require it because it's your policy, you could say. That's where I land, is trying to come up with a solution that doesn't cause them to shut down any kind of affiliation with you or the church.
Right. But it's like this pause, that there's a distinction between what they did before and the seriousness of the commitment they're making. It's like a cleansing, or a time like when Jesus went and prayed, right? It's, that 40 days in the wilderness of really coming before God and making a distinction, because when you're living together, you're blurring those lines, right? And what really does a ceremony change, right? So you want to take this seriously, that they're entering into a covenant before God and family. And let's make it meaningful. Let's not water that down.
Right. Very, very good. Well, let me send you Every Man's Bible. I hope that would be a gift that you can use. It's the best-selling men's study Bible coming your way. And look, we know what's right and what's wrong. Wouldn't it be great if everybody else did too? And so we're taking the reality of life and trying to help make good decisions. If we never married, and I'm a pastor, if we never married people that were involved with ungodly things, there'd be very few marriages, because living together isn't, as you all are aware, isn't the only thing that could be going on in anybody dating. So it's very, very tough. It's tough to not be liberal and yet not also wanting to come across as the dictator of all things without looking at the heart and soul and the reality of it. We are not liberal. There's not a liberal bone in our body. But I would just say we don't deliver the truth the same way that other people deliver the truth, which is just quote a verse and expect that to suffice.
But one more thought. I think the emphasis is on having your hearts prepared before God and your connection with the Lord prior to marriage and starting it out right. Less about you need to follow the rules.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, what is God calling you to do?
Right.
Are you entering into this covenant with Him?
That's right. Okay, very good, Joe. 1-800-229-3000. We'll do a whole other program after this, but let's go to Cindy. She'll be our final call here, but we'll take everybody, 1-800-229-3000 in the next hour. She listens on YouTube or watches. Cindy, how are you, and what's your question?
Hi, I'm good. My question is, the last 3 years have been really something else for me. In addition to COVID, my husband got in trouble with the IRS and spent his time in COVID in jail, and now he's headed off to prison for a couple more years. And I am having a heck of a time trying to deal with, I guess, living in fear and all the toxic chemicals that I can feel that are just coursing through my body. And I remember quite a while ago, this comes up in my mind, Dr. Jill said something when I was with you guys down in Dana Point about, your feelings are not going to kill you, just sit with it. And so sometimes I'm just like, okay, I'm sitting with it. And sometimes I just can't get it under control, and I want to run screaming down the road with my hair on fire.
Okay.
So,
it makes sense. And Cindy, that idea of sitting with things is learning to stretch our capacity to tolerate what feels intolerable and to bear things. Mm-hmm. And we need people with us in that process. And you think about it, can I sit for a few seconds longer than I did the moment before or the day before, right? Can I tolerate this just a little bit longer and realize that my dependence is on the Lord? And even in this, right, where you want to run screaming, it's understandable, right?
Yeah.
The Lord is there, and He will help you to tolerate it and to, again, bring the right people around you to also help you bear it.
And we know that it's going to be okay. We just don't know whether or not it's going to be comfortable.
Right.
It's probably not going to be comfortable, but it's going to be okay because things you were worried about 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you're not worried about that anymore. You'll get through this, but it's probably going to be an uncomfortable time, but God's there for you and with you. JJ, you have a comment here?
I want to build on what Jill was saying, that the more we practice sitting with it, building that resilience, it does build up. It's just like our physical strength, right? We might start off holding a plank for 30 seconds, and that's all we can handle, and our body is shaking. But the more we practice, then we get to where we can hold it longer and longer. Same thing with our emotions. When I practice sitting with that uncomfortable emotion early on, I can only do it for a little while, and then I run down the street with my hair on fire. But if I keep doing it, next week I can sit a little bit longer with it, and the following week.
Right, and it really helps to shift our focus sometimes when it's just so unbearable to the concrete. Just focusing, being in the moment. What's concrete? The table's concrete. The chair is concrete. My feet are on the ground.
That's right.
I see the trees. The leaves are blowing. Focus there when it feels like you're being taken away by fear.
I've got 2 devotionals. I'll send you the 100 days to freedom from fear, and then I'll send you 100 days of peace. Great, wonderful devotions, and I'm so glad that you called. JJ, you had a final comment here as we close out this portion, and then we'll do a whole other program after this.
As we sit, we invite Jesus to reveal himself to us as sitting with us in the pain.
Yeah.
Love that.
Also, I will just say that surrender is hard, but the gift of surrender, total surrender, is peace. And that is something that only Jesus can provide when we surrender to Him. If you need some help, it's 1-800-229-3000, or if you can help us, same thing. And don't forget, Intimacy in Marriage, July 28th in D.C., Every Man's Battle, August the 4th. JJ will be at both of those, conducting both of those. And then our Lumina Experience for Women at Museum of the Bible, October the 27th. Go to luminawomen.org. Join us next program, 1-800-229-3000. Thank you, Jill and JJ. See you next time.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.